In this video, we're going to talk about some basic math functions that we could use within Excel. So the first mathematical operation we're going to focus on is addition. If you want to add two numbers, you can do it in any cell, just like a calculator. So let's say if we want to add 8 and 7, type in equals 8 plus 7, and it's going to do the math for you. Now, let's say if you want to perform an operation, but using information that's in other cells. For instance, like if we want to add the values in cell E2 and cell F2, we can type in equal E2 plus F2, and we'll get 12. Now we could do the same thing with subtraction. We could subtract any two random numbers. For instance, let's say if we wanted to subtract 30 and 18, we would type in equals 30 minus 18. Or we could subtract two of these numbers. Let's say if we want to subtract value 3 by value 1, this would be equal. We can type in F2 or simply select it, and then minus D2. That's going to give us 5. So that's how you could subtract two numbers within Excel. Now we could multiply any two numbers that we want. Just type in, well, first let's multiply 8 times 6. So type in equal 8, shift 8 to put the multiplication symbol, and then times 6. That'll give us 48. Or if we want to multiply these two numbers, we could type in equal cell E2, shift 8 to get the multiplication symbol, and then F2. 5 times 7 is 35. Now let's talk about how we can divide two numbers. So let's say we want to divide 42 by 7. So it's going to be equal 42 backslash 7, and that's going to give us 6. Now let's say we want to divide value 2 by value 1. We could type in equal D2 divided by, actually I meant to do it the other way, E2 divided by D2. There we go. And that will give us 2.5. So that's how you could perform division in Excel. Now let's focus on exponents. Let's say we want to raise 2 to the third power. This is going to be equal 2 raised to the third power, which is 8. Or let's do 7 squared. So equal F2 raised to whatever is in D2. So that's going to be 7 squared, which is 49. So that's how you could perform exponential operations using just any random numbers or numbers in different cells. Now you can also use the square root function. To do that, just type in equal square root, and let's take the square root of 36. That'll give us that number, or we could take the square root of a number in a different cell. Let's say, let's make a new value. Let me delete this first. So value 4, let's make it 64. So let's take the square root of what's in G2. That will give us 8. And of course, if we change the value in this cell, it's going to change what we see here. So if I make this 25, this becomes 5. If I make this 100, the square root of 100 is 10. And so that's the good thing about using the formulas, because when you change the values, it's going to change everything we see here. So if I make this a 3, these numbers are going to change. If I make this a 4, it's going to change the calculation. Now let's do a little edit in here. I'm going to bold those subtitles. Let's center it. Now there's some other things we can do with Excel. We can also calculate the sum of a group of numbers. So if you type in equal sum and then highlight these numbers, you're going to get the total for that column. And we could do the same for the next column. We can get the sum of those values. Now we can also get an average of a range of numbers. Just type in equal average and then highlight all the numbers in the column. So the average of these 7 numbers is about 27.14. Now, if you want to calculate, or if you want to identify the maximum number in a range or in a column of numbers, you can use the maximum function. If you type in equal max, that will give you the maximum out of these 6 numbers, which is 48. Of course, you could see it, but if you have a long list of data, this is going to be very useful. Now we can also calculate the minimum, or identify the minimum, use the min function. So the lowest number is 6. And here we can see the lowest number is going to be 0.8. Now we can also get a range of our data. The range is simply the difference between the maximum value and the minimum value. So we just got to subtract what's in cell C12 by cell C13. And so our range is 42. We can also calculate the standard deviation of a population or of a sample. So if we want to calculate the sample standard deviation of these 6 numbers, we could do that as well. I should have wrote that first. So if you're taking statistics and you have to deal with a lot of numbers, Excel is very useful. It can make your life a lot easier if you need to calculate the standard deviation. Because doing it on paper, it does take some time. For those of you who want to know how to calculate the standard deviation on paper, I have a video on YouTube that explains how to do that. Just type in the YouTube search bar, standard deviation organic chemistry tutor, and it's going to come up. So if you're taking stats, you may also want to know how to calculate the variance. So we can calculate the variance based on the entire population or of a sample. Let's calculate the sample variance. And that's going to give us the answer. Now some of you might be taking trig. You can also use Excel to calculate or evaluate trigonometric functions. So let's say if we want to evaluate the sine function. Type in equal sine. Now, when you plug in the number, it has to be in radians. Typically though, if you want to get the value in degrees, here's what you do. Type in radians and then put the angle in degrees. Sine 30 degrees is 0.5. But if you were to type in just equal sine 30, what you're plugging in here is not 30 degrees but 30 radians, and that will give you a different answer. So let's say if we want to find cosine of 90 degrees. Cosine 90 is 0. So type in equal cosine radians 90. Now this is really 0.000000. You got like 16, 17 zeros, and then 612574. So this is basically very close to 0 when you see a number like that. We could try something else. We could try cosine 30, which is 0.866. So that's how you can evaluate trig functions using Excel.